Well, for more, we cross to our reporter in Cape Town, Vanessa Poonah. Vanessa, good afternoon to you. So, listening into some of the testimony, it seems there are some contradictions emerging from what he told police and what he told the courts. So, the prosecution trying to pick out those inconsistencies.
Natasha, yes, good afternoon to you. Prosecutor Susan Galloway is continuing in the same vein in which she started cross-examination yesterday, trying to show the improbability of Henri van Breda's version that one or possibly more than one intruders are responsible or were responsible for the murders of his brother, father, as well as mother, and the attack on his sister Marley at their Desalza estate home 2 years ago. This morning, focusing largely on Henri's position just outside or in the bedroom. Of course, he told the court that he was alerted to strange noises and when he emerged from the bathroom saw an intruder clad in a balaclava type cap or headgear with eyes cut out. He made quite sure to mention that this looked homemade because of the frayed edges around the eyes, saying that this, of course, as he did during his testimony or evidence in chief yesterday, explaining what he had seen at length this morning. Advocate Susan Galloway, of course, trying to poke holes in Henri van Breda's evidence, asking and questioning and showing up improbability on her side, on the state side, of how an intruder could have inflicted these deadly injuries on Henri van Breda's brother, also on his father, and while he shouted for help, not turn towards Henri van Breda, but of course, as the evidence was left the room, later then came back, after which Henri managed to wrestle the axe from his would-be assailant. Henri van Breda insisting that the inconsistencies with his plea explanation as well as his statement given to police after the killing at their Desalza home, saying that those were not his words verbatim. On many occasions today as well, saying that he, for example, did not say that the intruder was indeed a black man, but saying that he was almost pressurized to give the race of the attacker, explaining that having lived in Australia, there were no such thing as a coloured person, but conceded in court that the alleged attacker could indeed have been a coloured person as well. So the prosecution really taking things very slowly this morning, nitpicking through Henri van Breda's evidence. You would know that he at this point is the only witness. He was in the room when his brother was attacked allegedly by this intruder, and of course the state not going to let this opportunity pass by without completely ripping apart the evidence given by Henri van Breda, not only just in court yesterday as led by his counsel, but also in his statement to police, as well as set out in his plea explanation. Proceedings outside the High Court have adjourned for lunch at this present time, and we expect Advocate Susan Galloway to continue in this vein when court proceedings resume just after 2 o'clock this afternoon.
All right, so Vanessa, it then it leads to the question, why did he not help his family when he saw them being attacked? And the other question that casts a bit of doubt is, why did they murder the family and not take anything of value from the home?
And this indeed, Natasha, you rightfully say that indeed was put to him not only by the prosecution but also by the presiding officer, Judge Siraj Desai, asking him why then he did not come to the aid of his brother, even once the light went on in the bedroom and his father came in and wrestled the attacker. Why then he did not come to the aid? And like he said yesterday, Henri van Breda saying that in hindsight he wish he had. His explanation is that he was scared. We've heard that several times since yesterday, that Henri says he was too scared to come to the defense of his brother as well as his father while these deadly attacks were going on. Also asked by the prosecution why indeed, or showing up the unlikelihood that intruder or intruders would have breached the security at the Desalza estate, make their way into the property of the Van Breda family, which is sort of in the middle of the estate, come in, attack the family, leave leave three of them dead, leave one seriously injured, and then, of course, making off without taking anything of value. At this, Henri van Breda conceded that it could have been a direct attack on his brother Rudy. Of course, what we're hearing in court at this point does not make sense, that intruders would come into a home, massacre an entire family, make off without valuables that were in plain sight. And of course, that is what the state is trying to prove here as Henri's cross-examination, of course, continues in the High Court today.
So thanks so much. For now, we'll leave it there. Vanessa Poonah live from the Western Cape High Court. Auditor General Kimi Makwetu